There are people who, at first glance, seem completely harmless. They approach you with kindness, politeness, and even charm. They present themselves as caring, attentive individuals, sometimes so warm that you feel drawn to them almost instantly. But as time goes by, something beneath the surface begins to show. Slowly, their true energy starts to reveal itself. Without even realizing it, you may begin to feel off balance around them. They manipulate subtly, almost imperceptibly. They start to feed off your attention, your presence, your trust. You begin to question yourself, your instincts, your feelings, even your own sanity. And if you don't notice what's happening, if you're not alert, they can gradually turn your life into chaos, the kind that's hard to escape. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." These people often operate in the shadows of human interaction. Their signs can be faint, hard to detect at first, but they are there. And if you pay close attention to what you feel in their presence, especially in the beginning, you might be able to recognize them in time. Most importantly, you will learn how to protect yourself before it's too late. So stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might be one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. The choice to protect your peace, your emotional energy, and your inner clarity from those who are not worthy of it. Energy doesn't lie. When someone gives off a strange feeling, even when everything they say and do seems normal, trust that feeling. Chances are, it has already happened to you. You meet someone for the first time, and although their behavior is perfectly acceptable, something deep inside you feels uneasy. They didn't say anything wrong. They didn't act out of place. But something about their tone, their gaze, or simply their presence makes you feel uncomfortable, and you can't quite explain why. And this is where most people make their first mistake. They ignore it. Our rational mind intervenes and says, "Don't judge too quickly. Maybe I'm overreacting. I have no proof something's wrong." But the unconscious already knows. Carl Jung spoke of how we perceive invisible signs before our conscious mind can process them. He called this the collective unconscious, a vast inherited system of awareness passed down through generations, which allows us to sense danger before we can articulate it. In other words, your intuition is not magic, nor is it paranoia. It's a signal, a deep, primal alert coming from the most ancient parts of your psyche. Let me tell you something personal. One day, a friend introduced me to someone new. This person was polite, articulate, friendly. Everything on the surface seemed perfect. But something about being around them made me uneasy. I couldn't explain it. There was this tightness in my chest, a strange discomfort in my stomach, as if my body was quietly trying to warn me, something's not right here. Still, I chose to ignore it. After all, how could I judge someone without a clear reason? Months passed, and little by little the mask began to slip. I started to see who this person really was. Behind the charm, there was deception, a clear pattern of dishonesty, of playing two sides. That's when I finally understood something essential. Energy doesn't lie. But often, we are the ones who choose not to listen. If I had trusted my instincts from the start, I could have saved myself from many problems. Intuition is not some mystical power. It's a biological tool for survival. Scientists explain that intuition is a form of unconscious knowledge. Our brain picks up subtle cues, micro-expressions, tone of voice, body language, before we can even name them. These cues expose someone's real intentions, even when they try to hide them. When you meet someone and feel something is off, what's really happening is that your unconscious is recognizing familiar danger patterns, even if your conscious mind can't put it into words. Maybe it was a brief expression of contempt. Maybe the smile was forced. Maybe their tone didn't match the meaning of their words, but because your rational mind can't explain it, all you feel is Intuition. And here's the crucial part. Most people dismiss these signals because they can't justify them logically. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Now, how do you tell the difference between real intuition and paranoia? Of course, we can't live in constant suspicion, but we can learn to listen to our intuition without denying it or overreacting. Here's a key difference. Intuition is subtle but persistent. If something doesn't feel right from the very beginning, and that feeling doesn't go away, you need to pay attention. Paranoia, on the other hand, is loud and inconsistent. If you constantly feel extreme distrust toward many people and your perception of them shifts all the time, it's more likely to be a fear inside you rather than a true signal. Jung believed that the unconscious always knows before the conscious mind catches up. So the next time you feel that strange sensation around someone, don't ignore it, because sometimes that faint discomfort is the only warning you'll ever get. And it might come before something truly harmful takes root in your life. And now, we go even deeper. Because some people don't just make you feel uncomfortable, they actively absorb your energy. In the next part, I'll show you how to identify the people who drain you without you even realizing it, and why, if they're anywhere near you, you need to walk away. There is a type of manipulation so subtle that, at first glance, you might not even recognize it. It's not loud. It doesn't come wrapped in anger or threats. It creeps in slowly, in seemingly harmless conversations, in quiet corrections, in phrases that sound like concern, but are really distortions. It begins when someone makes you question your own memory, your perception, your feelings. When you're told, that never happened, you're imagining things, you always exaggerate. Or when they deny their own words with an unsettling calmness. I never said that, you must be confused. And little by little you start to believe them. You begin to doubt yourself. You wonder, am I being too sensitive? Maybe I'm seeing things that aren't really there. Maybe it's just me. This is one of the most dangerous forms of manipulation. Not because it's loud or aggressive, but because it's quiet, insidious. It doesn't break you down from the outside. It unravels you from within. It's called gaslighting, and it's a psychological tactic used to make someone question their reality until they become so disoriented, so unsure of themselves, that they begin to lose confidence in their own truth. Carl Jung once said that what we deny in ourselves, we project onto others. And this couldn't be more relevant here. There are people who cannot confront their own shadows, so instead they cast those shadows upon you. They make you feel like you are the problem when, in reality, they're trying to escape their own. I want to share something with you. There was a time when someone very close to me consistently made me feel like my emotions were invalid. Every time I expressed discomfort, sadness, or even just unease, the reaction was always the same. It's not a big deal. You're being dramatic. You always blow things out of proportion. At first, I brushed it off. I assumed I was overreacting. I gave the benefit of the doubt. But over time, I started to notice a pattern. Every time I tried to bring up something that bothered me, I was made to feel like the issue wasn't real, like I was just being difficult. And worse than that, I began to believe it. I started questioning myself. Am I making things up? Is my perception really that flawed? Maybe I really am too emotional. And that is the real danger of silent manipulation. It doesn't attack you. It makes you turn against yourself. Gaslighting is not about control through dominance. It's about control through confusion. It's about making you need their version of reality because you've stopped trusting your own. It makes you seek their validation at every turn. And when you do that, when you rely on someone else to tell you what's real, you become easy to manipulate. So how can you tell when someone is doing this to you? They constantly rewrite the past. What they said yesterday, today, they deny. What happened last week, they claim was never real. And when you call it out, they don't own it. They say you misunderstood, that you're forgetful, that you always misinterpret things. They make your feelings seem invalid. Every time you express how you feel, they minimize your reaction. They tell you you're being too emotional, too dramatic, too sensitive. They make you question whether your emotional responses are ever reasonable at all. They isolate you, not by locking you away, but by gently, persistently making you doubt everyone else. They don't understand. Only I know what's really going on. And slowly, you begin to drift away from those who might have helped you see the truth. And maybe the biggest sign of all, after spending time with them, instead of feeling clear or comforted, you feel disoriented. You walk away, wondering if what you experienced was real, unsure of what actually happened, or even who you really are. So how do you protect yourself? Start by trusting your own emotions and memories. If something made you feel hurt, confused, or diminished, that's real. You don't need someone else to confirm your reality. Your emotions are evidence. Your memories are valid. Surround yourself with people who bring clarity. Speak with someone you trust. Sometimes an outside perspective, someone untouched by the manipulation, can help you see what's actually happening. If someone constantly makes you feel like you are the problem, it's time to take a step back. Someone who truly cares for you will never twist your reality to make you doubt yourself. And here's where it gets even deeper. Because some people don't just manipulate your reality, they take it one step further. They project their internal chaos onto you. They don't just make you question what's real, they make you carry guilt that was never yours to begin with. And now that you've made it this far, there's something essential I need you to truly understand. Something many people take years, even a lifetime, to fully grasp. Not every person who walks into your life does so with the intention to love, to support, or to uplift you. Some will arrive quietly without causing a scene, and little by little begin to drain your energy without you noticing. Others will hide their envy behind false smiles, behind vague compliments that never sound quite sincere, behind silences when you share your victories, subtle silences that speak louder than words ever could. There are people who will gently and persistently manipulate you, not with cruelty, but with confusion, with indirect words, with doubts delicately planted in your mind. They won't scream, they won't threaten. Instead, they will wear down your confidence slowly, like waves eroding a rock, until one day you find yourself wondering why you no longer trust your own intuition, why you feel smaller, why you've started hiding parts of yourself just to keep the peace. These people might never attack you outright, but that doesn't make them less dangerous. On the contrary, sometimes the most damaging presences in our lives are the ones who operate in silence. They make you carry burdens that were never yours. They convince you to tone down your light just so they don't feel overshadowed by your glow. And eventually, they make you believe that playing small is the only way to stay safe. But even more dangerous than all of these is the person who lives in chaos and carries that chaos wherever they go. They don't come with warnings. They don't have a label that says, "Stay away." In fact, they often appear in your life with charm, with intensity, with the illusion of deep connection. In the beginning, it all feels magnetic, an emotional high, a sense of fate, of something profound. The energy is so powerful that you mistake the storm for passion, for meaning, for destiny. But over time, you begin to see the pattern. There's always something wrong, always a fight, always a crisis, always a whirlwind of emotions that never settle. And somehow, without realizing, you're pulled into it. Their chaos becomes yours. Their problems become your weight. Their instability becomes the backdrop of your daily life. What once felt like intensity now feels like exhaustion. What seemed like authenticity now reveals itself as emotional games. What appeared to be connection is now a cycle of highs and lows, of tension and release, of manipulation masked as love. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. That is exactly what happens when you stay close to someone who hasn't faced their inner conflicts. They don't want to change. They don't want peace. Their identity is wrapped in the very chaos they create, and if you stay long enough, their storm will become your reality. So how do you protect yourself from these people? You don't rescue them. You don't wait for them to transform. You don't offer your peace in exchange for their dysfunction. You walk away, not because you don't care, but because you finally do. You create distance. You build your own peace. You surround yourself with people who are emotionally stable, people who understand the value of harmony, of genuine connection, of growth without destruction. Because if someone brings drama into every room they enter, if their life is a series of unresolved conflicts, if their past is a trail of broken relationships, lost opportunities, and burned bridges, do not assume that you will be the exception. You won't. No one is. It's not selfish to walk away from what drains you. It's not cold to protect your energy. It's not excessive to guard your peace. It is your responsibility. Listen to your body when it feels uneasy around someone. Trust your intuition when something doesn't feel right. Pay attention to the patterns, not the promises, because the most dangerous person in your life isn't always the loudest or the cruelest. Sometimes it's the one who seems magnetic, charming, even special, but leaves you more confused, more tired, more unsure of yourself every time they walk away. So I ask you now, with sincerity and strength, will you protect your sacred peace? If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I will protect my sacred peace." That way I'll know you were with me until the very end. And if this message resonated with you, if it helped you gain clarity or gave you the courage to let go of what no longer serves you, please don't forget to like this video. Just one click helps others find this message too. If you want to keep learning about the mind, about emotional energy, and the invisible threads that shape our relationships through the lens of Carl Jung's philosophy, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's more to come. I'm your inner philosopher, Gabriel, and I invite you to click the video on the screen to continue your journey with content that truly adds meaning to your life. I'll be waiting for you there, dear soul. Stay strong, stay awake, and above all, stay true to your light.